just keep going through and divide our episode, the episodes of this playthrough into smaller portions. So here we go, number 8. Let's did I ever? Yeah, I did inspect this. See, I did talk to this guy before, but oh, this looks like new dialogue, actually. Would you mind if I investigated a little outside? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but this is not true, I see. Sorry? Here he goes with the joke line again. The criminal asking prison guard to help him escape? Very funny. We're in the middle of the sea. There's no chance of me escaping. Niet! You stay in this cabin until next port. Then it is up to Hong Kong police to decide what they do with you. You stay! Alright. There's no point trying to appeal to this man's better nature, that's for sure. Better nature. Interesting line. I don't agree with that and the anthropological implications of that statement. All right. Let's converse with him. Wait, move? I'm going to turn this desperate situation around somehow. Then the inspector in front of me is my only chance. Oh, okay, so basically it's prompting me to talk to him. Okay. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. Oh! It was Minister of Justice Jikoku who pushed. Yeah, I didn't know how to say that Japanese word. Jigoku, who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board. From morning until night. Every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin. Not here on the first class deck. I have failed miserably at my assignment. And Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm in a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all I can do to help now, just say the word. Well, with that said, let's get some permission to investigate. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not! We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the cabin to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I do. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Narugodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select present. Okay. Evidence will give us a viable reason. Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective with evidence he needs to persuade the captain. Okay. Okay. I mean, what do I have in the court record that's... So if I press present, does it just go to the court record? Yeah. I mean, I used this to try to convince Susato-san that I was still in the wardrobe. Ah, this paper seal that was stuck over the wardrobe doors this morning, isn't it? That's right. To try to stop the cabin steward opening it and discovering me. Wouldn't it have been better to write it in English if you didn't know Russian? Maybe, but Ofuda paper amulets like this are part of our culture, Inspector. And I thought if I made it look creepy enough, people would be too scared to want to look inside. It isn't easy being a stowaway, isn't it? Alright, well that didn't work. How do I present? How do I get over there? Like, look over there. Wait. What, do I inspect it again? I didn't have to turn off autoplay to do the text skipping function. Alright. No. I mean, am I able to present him? Okay. I mean, whatever. I'll just present him this. Have you seen this photograph yet, Inspector? Oh, autoplay. Oh dear. Are you alright, Inspector? Yes, sorry, I'm fine. I was hoping to hide my upset with a fit of coughing. But trying to stifle my feelings seems to have stifled my cough this time. It's all so sad. Asogi-san was such a promising young man. The Empire had such high hopes for him. I had such high hopes for him, even though I'm just a detective. We're all going to miss you, Kazuma. Alright, I mean, I guess I have to find one more thing. Yeah. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes. I see it says, "This way up" in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Alright. What am I supposed to present to this bloke? Whatever, I'm just gonna go through each of the items. What's this? Okay. Oh, yeah, he refers to the speckled band. Man, it was such a waste of time. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, "What looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill." A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... don't tell me. A ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right, so if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave this cabin. Okay. Move. Alright, let's see what we can find out. Alright. One moment, guys. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be. This is the most luxurious accommodation. What's this thing over here? It's like a... Is that a mousetrap? Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. And that's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch. And he looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to a second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. Oh, that's important. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs? Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is... I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Alright. Plenty to examine here. No. Whatever. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Whoa! Oh, Excuse me, we, need to get inside this cabin here. The sailor's eyes speak volumes. They're clearly saying, keep out. That's what I wrote on the sign we put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is definitely more effective. It doesn't look like he's going to let us pass. That's a problem. Okay. Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a clump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that is what's called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But... I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Alright. First class cabin number 1. Yep, that's our cabin. Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin in steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... How many cabins are there? Alright, let's see this. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm? It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this is... I have to see... What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it! But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you would be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would stop. This ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Alright, let's look over here. This looks like a plan for the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look. The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually. But how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth. Many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods... What did I say? Since the gods created them. Yeah, sure. That's a huge book on top of the table there. And there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate that compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san. Even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there's nothing to report. There was another one of these things in Kazuma's cabin. And, you know, I wonder if it's connected to the same, like to the same pipe, you know, like how they have on those playgrounds. Although I don't really know why they would have that. But yeah, let's look at the door. That's the way to the second class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reached for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Yeah, probably. Yep. Oh dear. I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started it with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Let's talk to him. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You? You little throwaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid! Oh. Seems we have caught the sailor on a bad day. I am not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman, Biff Stroganoff. Alright. Mr. Stroganoff, about the first-class cabin area. Here we are in this finest part of Buria steamship for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret. Many important persons. That is why I'm guarding this place. That's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganov is not animal. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Da. I think he said da. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes or no. Ingenious. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without an invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimesby Roylott. He is very important Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. And that was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, Even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kosuma's cabin the entire... Oh, that's Ryunosuke's lines. Whoops. I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anything there. Well, presumably since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important, is that right? That is not your business. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganov? Da, all the time. So criminals like you cannot come in, or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you not notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Hit! Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a... No! That was probably the word for niet, but I didn't know that you pronounce that H that way. I saw nothing unusual. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything wrong? I said no! Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second-class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain. Or as in English say, when pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Alright, so he's gone. I wonder if now I can actually look at it. Oh wait, hold on. Did he just read something that I didn't have before? Okay. Yeah, nothing in the chair. Okay, this light is on, but this one's off. Maybe that's not significant. Yeah, I don't know. Alright. Let's go in. This is it. This cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes. The ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah! Someone yelled in there. What was that? It came from inside the cabin. It's probably her luck. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside! I'm about to break the door. I'm about to break the door down. Man, it's hard to switch from Russian to British. I shan't be stopped. Where the fit is on me, I revel in the... Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What prey can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. It's probably the ballerina girl, disguised. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. In that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimesby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Sherlock Holmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No? I am a great detective among great detectives, one who adorns the cover of popular magazines. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. He's kind of a scam artist. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe. So I might be so bold to ask you to open that small traveling case. What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh my! Did you see that, Mr. Navigolo? Yes. The case just shook. Leave now, otherwise I'll call the steward. So this is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimesby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Alright. What do you think you're doing? Nah! Look at Sherlock. He's just chilling in the wardrobe. This is my cabin! Get out! Could we just have a quick look inside your traveling case, perhaps? No! What a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do. I agree. But there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Okay. Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? I was trying to check this bag down here, but whatever. You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh! And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in his cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what this most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why, the truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what you're about to see may well astound you. For I'm about to apply my great detective's great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of the Russianness? Or Russian on account of the dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you or anyone. That's right. And Mr. Sholmes, I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on the first meeting, but I once read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh! I must have complete silence. Well, what are you doing? Why are you peering into my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment, no less in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you've been discovered. Does it not? Ah! Oh, not a Holderson! I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes's... That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. She's buying the scam. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know. What? What ineffable twabble. Oh, yes. I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impacts of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the colors... Oh, that's me talking. Looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us walk through my deductions together. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Old man's identity. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now, we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper. In particular, the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. Roylott? I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia from Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand? This is funny, man. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glances falls. The proof of your crime sits behind our very eyes. Yes, a traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps, one slight enough to fit therein. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? You careless cool-dip. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another, most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page, renowned prima ballerina of the Novachich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the Russian enigma, Elemensky. So Sato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall the discussion, Andy. And at the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary. Well, able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years' worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself. Oh. Hold on. Man, this autoplay thing does... Hold up. What did he say? For such a bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of the small case. You might be thinking of the contortionist in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Rightfully so. Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Susato. It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some key words in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Why are your handcuffs? Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. Then don't worry. I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Harlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Alright. This is cool. So the dubious-looking Russian Mr. Roylott obviously catches the eye in the first place. Is the enormous pair of shears in your hand? Now, we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. Excuse me. Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means I suppose that that deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a keyword here. Narukodo-san. And see if it helps matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest of in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott going to use those enormous shears for? Oh, wow. Okay, I mean, I don't... What's this back here? How do I go down? Oh, they didn't even show this before. It's her hair. Yeah, look. There's this pot on the ground. She was gonna stand next to it and cut it. And she had this picture here, which I can't like move over to see. A thick hat. Yeah, we're gonna go with golden locks. What the? What's this? Looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No, no, no. The color's not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? How's it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Oh yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here. It's so obvious.
Yes!
You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all, you're a woman! And judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business, not strictly... Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true. Given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather, she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novachich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of Novachich Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikola Pavlova. What? She had scissors stabbed through her head. You're right. My real name is Nina. Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Ballerina on the run. Solved. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is a ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well. No, that's right. Seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see why I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruholo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Alright. It's a very small case, isn't it? You can see instantly that no person could possibly fit inside there. So does that tell us that Miss Pavlova's telling glance in this direction was focused on something else? If that's true, though, it doesn't make sense. She's hiding a pet in there, which was said in the warning on the sign on the door. And so that's what she's nervous about. which is actually, like, not that big of a deal. Perhaps she has a perfectly harmless reason, though. Yeah. Let's see here. Wow! Look at that dazzling tiara! I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruhodo-san, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Okay. Yeah, I mean... The waste paper basket. Let's have a little look inside. Naruhodo-san. It's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly. We have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. Well, I guess... Yeah, I mean, I guess... She's got the tiara, which, I mean, maybe it's fake. I think her crime is not... I think this is like a bait, that they're trying to bait you to think it's the tiara, but that there's a pet in there. And she's just nervous about that. I'm just gonna present them.
Yes!
Oh, no, this ain't it. You're quite concentrating. You've identified exactly what I did originally. I thought it was gonna allow me to, like, change it to that there's a pet inside or something. I guess it doesn't have any, doesn't have an entry for her. Yeah. Yeah, that was a silly mistake. I said literally what he already said. Miss Pavlova definitely let her eyes straight as something. That something will explain everything. We must look around very carefully and try to work out what she was looking at. Alright, I'll investigate the area more thoroughly. I agree, there must be something here that will prove what this woman is really guilty of.
Yes!
Okay, here we go. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Ah! I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novicic Ballet, is it not? Indeed. It would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it is an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you've committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully, taking their precious tiara with you. Ah! I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl's only 15 years old, and she's a runaway all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. All right, I will tell you everything. There is no point to hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case in yours in your presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I ever laid eyes on them. Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup de... I don't know how to say that. Once again, we only follow your furtive glance. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. And there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. It must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn. Whatever she has hidden inside that case. Oh. She would be revealed by following her gaze. These are the rules of passage aboard for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. There was exactly the same notice in our cabin too. I wonder what happens if you break the rules. Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment would be severe, Narugolo-san. You'd probably be left to drift in the freezing cold ocean. Or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? Yeah, I think this is it.
Yes!
Yes. The reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time. But no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves what one possibility, Miss Pavlova? Inside your traveling case? It's the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage, a pet. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary. So clearly you aren't who you said you were. No, I am not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The Beria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut it off, who was it that let out the scream we heard outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided, how do you say, disguise myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transform yourself into that questionable old man? I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened. I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that, from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say it to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, all right. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Narukodo? Wasn't it something Mr. Sholmes' great deduction? It certainly was something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. At least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. My... Ah, your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Narukodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's just listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. Okay. I think we're gonna make it a to be continued at that moment. Thank you guys for watching. We shall see you next time.